Hello everybody and welcome to Mr. Stansfield's educational videos. Today we're going to be doing a fun little project, hopefully a quick one, but pretty cool effect. So we're going to take a portrait and we're going to create a portrait out of text. And for this, you're going to have to start with a picture. I'd recommend finding a well-lit place, so think of good lighting. And contrast is going to matter for this picture. So this picture I think is a pretty good one. The first thing I would recommend doing is just cropping in. We want to have a tight crop on the face here, not too much background. We don't care too much about having like a headshot, head and shoulders, but just really tight on the face. So crop. The next step is to convert to black and white. So image adjustments, you could do black and white or hue saturation here. Doesn't matter how you get to be black and white, but we want it to convert to black and white. Click OK. The next step is to copy the background layer, and you could do that, again, a couple of different ways. But probably the easiest way is just take the background and drag it down here to the bottom of the layers palette. If you don't have your layers palette for some reason, you can always access it from up here in the window and then just click on layers here. The next step is to select all. So if you go to select and then all, or you can see here the shortcut key is just Command A on the keyboard. Select all. Then we're going to create a layer mask. And on this background copy, the layer mask is this little circle within the rectangle, add layer mask. We're going to, this is a little bit tricky here, so if you listen, it's going to be key. You option click on this white space. So when you create a layer mask, it creates an empty white layer mask. Option clicking on the layer mask will show us the layer mask. That's key. The next step is to edit and then oops, I forgot a step. So actually, before we add the layer mask, I'm going to go into my history now and undo. All right, so with after you select all, you have to go edit copy and edit copy or Command C. Then add the layer mask. Then after you add the layer mask, option click, then edit paste. So I just forgot to do the copy. And you can see here now I have in the thumbnail in the background copy, I've got the picture and then I have the picture as the layer mask. I'm going to go ahead and select and then deselect, or Command D to deselect. And the next step is to click on this layer, not the layer mask. So it's important, you can see there's little corners around the selection. So select the layer itself on the background copy. Then we're going to go edit and then fill, or Shift F5 is the shortcut key. Change the contents to white. So you go up here to Contents, select white, and then click OK. Now you can see my thumbnail is filled with white, but the layer mask itself is the picture. The next step is to create another layer, and in this case I'm going to select the background and then copy it, and I have background copy too. And then I'm going to go up here and do the same thing, Edit Fill, or Shift F5, Contents White. So I want to fill with white. With this background copy 2 selected, I'm going to create a new text layer. But before I do, I actually want to go and select my text. So I'm going to go to Google Chrome, and I'm going to go find this website here, blindtextgenerator.com. If you just search in Google for blind text generator, you'll be able to find this. And you can create text kind of using any one of these several options. I'd recommend Kafka because it's 2016 and Kafka has never been more prescient. Change the number of words to 5,000. Make sure you have words, not characters selected. And you only want one paragraph. That's important. We don't want any more than one paragraph. It doesn't really matter what the font is, but let's go ahead and select Arial anyway. Select all, then copy to clipboard. And now we have this text here. And that's going to be the text that we're going to pull into our document. So go back to Photoshop now. You can always find it down here by clicking on PS. And then with the background copy 2 selected, we're going to grab a text tool, the horizontal type tool right here. And then we're going to create a box. And we're going to do that by clicking and dragging from one corner to the next, basically to fill it. And you can see over here, actually, my box has gotten a little bit too big. So I'm going to make that a little smaller. I want it to fill the frame and not go outside of it. I'm going to go ahead and paste or Command V, edit, paste, or Command V is the shortcut key. And now all of that text is now in this text box. I'm going to go ahead and confirm, even though I want to make some changes, I'm going to go ahead and confirm the text box before I do anything else. And the next step is to play around with a couple of things. You can change the font size. So if you go smaller, you get more detail here in the photo. I'm going to hit Command plus just to zoom in a little bit more. Sometimes it actually helps to zoom out. You can see more of an image sometimes as you zoom out. But let's go ahead and look at it full screen here. I think 14 point is a little too small, maybe 16 point, and well, maybe 14 point was where we wanted to be. You can try different font modes or styles. You could change it to bold and see what that looks like. You could try underlining it, and the way to do that is to go to Window and then Character. So you have to click on Character right here, and you can see that there are some things you could do. You could try underlining the text. That might help. You could try strike through. You could try italicizing or bolding, or maybe all three, underline, bold, and italics. Basically just to create different kinds of imagery with that text. And it's really just going to be the size and then the style here that's going to really create the different kinds of images. And that's pretty much it. When you're done, typically when we're working with a Photoshop file with layers over here, we want to save as a Photoshop file. So we go File, Save As a Photoshop file, last name _ first name, always, and then the period, and then the name. That you could just call this text portrait, something like that. And then just make sure that it's a Photoshop file. Click Save, OK. And then after that, I recommend image size, and then resize it for the screen. So in this case, we're going to make sure the resolution is 72 pixels per inch, and the height is 1000 because it's the longer of the two numbers. Click OK, and then File, Save As. And then we're going to change the format from Photoshop to JPEG. And we can save it the same thing, last, first, period, text portrait, click Save. Up here, we always want to make sure that that is set to 12, and then click OK. And that's it. That's how you're going to create a text portrait in Photoshop.